Okay, so this is still 1.3. For example, 6. Okay, so example 6 is telling us that we have a rectangular garden plot and we have the dimensions. Okay, so I like to just kind of sketch what that might look like. Not that I don't know what a rectangle is, but 172 is the length and then 64 is your width. Now you're asked to find the lower and upper bounds of the perimeter. Okay, so if you're rushing through this, it's tempting to just get lower and upper bounds of the length, lower and upper bounds of the width, but we are asked to find the perimeter. So there are several ways to do this, okay, and I'll show you the at least 3 ways you could do this. Now your book only explains one way. Okay, now the first question you should be asking is, how do you find the perimeter of a rectangle or a square? Okay, now some students, they like to just add all of the sides because that's what the definition of a perimeter is. So what you could do is you could say L plus W plus W. Okay, why did I use the same variables? Because in a rectangle, your lengths are the same and your widths are also the same. Okay, so you could do it this way, set up the perimeter this way. Other students like to do it as 2 times L because again, L is just the same, plus 2 times width. Okay, or I think this is how your book shows it. You could be adding the length and the width together first, length and width together first, and then multiply that entire quantity by 2 because you just kind of have two pairs, okay, of the same thing. All right, so your book, I believe, uses this one. Again, regardless of what you use, you should be getting the same answer. Okay, now I will just kind of use the second one. Okay, you can test out the first one, you know, for practice if you have time. But anyway, so I am going to separate my question into 2 parts because the question is asking me to find the lower and upper bound. So for the lower bound, okay, so I'll kind of make a table here. And then I have the length and the width. Okay, so this is one way you could organize your work. So the length is 172, the width is 64. Okay, now if I'm going to figure out what is the lower bound for my length, the lower bound for my length, because it's a whole number, will be this minus 0.5, and so that's going to be 171.5. Okay, what is the upper bound for my length? I'm going to add 0.5 to that, and that should be 172.5. Okay, now how about for my width? What is the lower bound for my width? The lower bound for my width is 63.5. Okay, again, I'm just subtracting 0.5 from that, and my upper bound for my width will be 64.5. And here I basically have my numbers already. Okay, so for the lower bound, okay, for the perimeter of the lower bound, I don't know, PLB, if you will. Okay, I will use this formula, and so this will be 2 times the length for my lower bound, which according to my table is 171.5, okay, plus 2 times the width of my lower bound, because again, I'm focusing on the lower bound first, which is 63.5, okay, and then I will look at the perimeter, now considering my upper bound values, which is 2 times 172.5 plus 2 times 64.5. Okay, now I will just grab my calculator, make sure I get the same answer as what your textbook is saying. So I'm going to calculate the perimeter of the lower bound. Okay, I got 470 for this one. Okay, and then for the second one, I should get the same answer. Let's just verify. Okay, I get 474. So I have my perimeter for the lower bound. I have the perimeter for the upper bound. Now I will just express this in terms of an interval. So my original perimeter is represented by the variable p. If you go back to my previous video, remember to the left of the variable, you put the equal sign there, and then here is just your regular less than sign. It's good to just kind of remember that and put it there so you won't forget. Lower bound is 470. That goes to the left, and upper bound is 474. Okay? And that's how you express your answer. Notice for this question, you're not asked to find the original perimeter, but you could, okay? You might just want to test out what was my original perimeter, and does that number indeed fall between your lower and upper bound, okay? So that's one way to check. I won't do that anymore in this video, but if you finished a question early, for instance, it's good to check, because if for some reason your original number is less than your lower bound, okay, or greater than your upper bound, then something's off and you have to check what went wrong, okay? But more or less for this question, okay, this is how you proceed with an item like this. Okay, it's good to tabulate it. You might organize it a little differently, okay, but it's up to you. Just make sure that you're not confusing your values for lower bounds and upper bounds, especially when you have a shape involved, or like this example. Okay, so there. This is for example 6. I'll continue 1.3 on my next video.